There are many risk factors for cancer, such as genetics, exposure to carcinogens, diet, lifestyle, etc. In today's video, I am going to focus on genetics risk. Hi everyone, welcome to Qian's Quest. My name is Qian Li. I'm a nutrition scientist. If you have watched my previous two videos, you know that I have undergone bilateral sublingual oophorectomy and hysterectomy to significantly reduce my risk for ovarian cancer. These surgeries can also reduce my risk for breast cancer. Today is 2 weeks after the surgery. I only feel minimum pain from my incisions. I've reduced my medication by half, and I think my activity is maybe 90% back to normal. Today, I'm going to move away from my story, but focus on a question that you will be interested, which is, how do you know whether you have elevated genetic risk for cancer? First, let's talk about the family history. Many of you probably already know that assessing a comprehensive family history is a vital component when it comes to assessing someone's genetic risk for disease. You may or may not know that cancer occurring in your immediate blood-related family, such as your parents, your siblings, could indicate elevated genetic risk for you. But I want to caution you that this is not the full picture. Even cancer occurring in your extensive family could still suggest elevated genetic risk for you. And I'm going to explain this using my mom's family history. My mother was diagnosed with cancer in her early 50s and passed away 7 years later. But neither her biological parents nor her sibling have ever been diagnosed with any form of cancer. The only red flag from my mother's family history is her paternal aunt, who was diagnosed with breast cancer in her early 60s, but she has been treated and cancer-free for 20 years. Not only did it not occur to us that my mom might have had genetic predisposition to cancer, but even my previous OBGYN thought the onset of my mom's ovarian cancer was nothing but sporadic. But you know from my previous video that not only did my mom carry BRCA1 mutation, which leads to her ovarian cancer, she also passed down this mutation to me. And that is why I decided to be very proactive, conduct the surgery, and reduce my risk for cancer as early as I can. Going back to my mother's family history, it is very likely that one of her grandparents carries the BRCA1 mutation, and the mutation is passed down to my mother's father and my mother's aunt. Unfortunately, my mother also inherited the mutation from her father, and I inherited from my mother. I want to clarify that parents with genetic mutation do not necessarily pass down the same mutation to their children. Each child of parents with certain genetic mutation has 50% of the chance to inherit the same mutation. Now I would like to move on to the second key element for genetic cancer risk evaluation, which is to identify red flags in your family history that may suggest elevated genetic cancer risk. I would like to focus on 4 red flags. The first one is several members in the family related by blood have the same or similar forms of cancer, and often in multiple generations. Using my mother's example again, she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, while her aunt was diagnosed with breast cancer. Breast cancer and ovarian cancer are related cancers because the same gene mutation, such as BRCA1 and BRCA2 mutation, could increase the risk for both cancers. The second red flag is cancer occurring at a young age. We know that cancer is caused by DNA mutation. It takes a long time, usually decades, to develop into a mutation that not only can stay in the genome, but also could develop into a malignant tumor. So it's more likely to see early onset of cancer in individuals with genetic mutation. Another big red flag is bilateral or multiple primary tumor in the same individual, such as breast cancer on both breasts, because the chance for sporadic cancer to occur at different parts of the body at the same time is very, very small. The last red flag I want to talk about is rare form of cancer such as ovarian cancer, and cancer occurring in a less commonly affected gender such as male breast cancer. Not all the physicians are familiar with all the red flags, so my recommendations to you would be: first, know your family history as best as you can, and second, be able to identify red flags if present, take actions if needed, and be at the driver's seat of your own life. If you or your physician identify red flags in your family history, you could be recommended to take a genetic test or to speak to a certified genetic counselor. My recommendation is to speak to the genetic counselor first, even before you conduct the genetic test, because certified genetic counselors have advanced trainings in genetics and counseling. They can help you evaluate family history, look into other risk factors, recommend a genetic testing, interpret the result, and recommend proper management if you get the positive test results. If you end up taking a prescribed genetic test, the results will come back in one of the three ways. One possible outcome is positive, meaning a concerning genetic mutation is detected and you need to work with your healthcare professionals to manage risk. Usually, the options are increasing monitoring, taking medicines, or surgeries like what I did. Another possible outcome is negative, meaning no concerning mutation is detected, and that is the time to celebrate. The third possible outcome is called variant of unknown significance, and that means although a gene mutation is detected, the impact of that on your cancer risk is unknown, and therefore there's no actions needed at this point. Now let's wrap up the answer to the question that I raised in the beginning of the video, which is, how do you know whether you have elevated risk for cancer? There are a few things I want you to remember. First, family history. Second, red flags. Third, genetic counselor. And fourth, genetic testing. I hope you have learned a lot from this video, and make sure to share it with your family and friends so that they can also benefit from the information. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.